Hi, I'm Cindy with Booth Billings, and we bring photo booth entertainment to any kind of an event. And I'm here today to hope to get some ideas on how to work with sponsors to sponsor the photo booth at different events for like nonprofits and things like that.
Without further ado, Cindy White, Photo Booth Billings.
Hi, as you just heard, I'm Cindy White with Photo Booth Billings, and I ask me to come to their parties, to laugh, to take pictures, to have a total fun. So it's a great job. I love it. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Well, kind of I am. Time to talk about some fun, but in a business sense. Trying to switch it up a little bit. Is this ready to go? That's why it doesn't work. Okay, so I've been doing photo booths for over 12 years, and it just keeps getting funner and funner every year. Today, what I wanted to talk about mostly is sponsorships. We do a lot of events that are like for nonprofits that get sponsored by a company, and it's just great advertising for them, for us. But the way that normally most of the sponsors sponsor an event is they write a big check, they get their logo on a banner, or they get a mention from the stage that people then forget as soon as the next song comes on. They get a lanyard or a napkin, they get their logo on a napkin, or in a goodie bag or something like that. So what I'm here to do today is to talk about a different way to sponsor an event. The photo booth is the most visited thing at any event. That's what I've seen over hundreds of events. As soon as the photo booth, well, even before the photo booth gets put up, people are there. Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Because they love the photo booth. And so it's a very great opportunity. And at that point, when the person is getting their photo strip out when you're doing a sponsored event, and it's a branded event, and so it's got your logo on the bottom of it, you're there at the moment that you need to be, when they're smiling, when they're laughing, when they're having fun. And then they have that photo booth, that picture on their on this little photo strip. And we also have the option that they can opt into for mailing lists and the emails and things like that too. We have that option for them. But the main centerpiece of the whole sponsorship thing is this tiny little billboard. That's what I call it. It's this tiny little billboard that goes up on their fridge, or it goes on their desk at work, goes in a scrapbook, but it's always there. People don't throw it away. So when they look at that strip later, look at themselves smiling, having fun, and then right there at the bottom is your company name. So it's like an emotional thing. So they like you because they like the pictures. What we do with the strips is we brand them with we can do the custom colors of your product or your company, that you can put your logo on it, you can put your call to action, whatever you want on those strips, because we have like little space. And every single strip is designed specifically for the sponsor or the event. We'll kind of combine the two. Then we can also do a lot of the sponsors have their own backdrop. We love using those. That's fine. Or we have a bunch of custom backdrops that we can use. And we can even go as far as wrapping our booth to match, if you have a lot of money, to match the event. This is some sponsors that we've actually done recently. Well, some of them are kind of old. But that we've done for different companies around town. That kind of gives you an idea of what the different looks can look like. But we've done a lot of sponsored events. But this is what I'm here today to get some advice about, is the way that I'm seeing this, and I want to see if you guys think this is a good idea, is to go to the venue first or the nonprofit. And I just talked with Moss Matchin, and that's kind of how I got this rolling with me. And she would love me to find a sponsor for the photo booth for her, because she does enough fun. We'd love to have one. And then go to the sponsor and say, hey, I've got you a seat front and center at this event. Would you like to be in it? Would you like to sponsor it? And then that's kind of like my approach to get into the to sponsor, and then deliver the experience for everybody. The numbers, usually at about a 300 person event, we usually take between 150 to 200 sessions, because we get them through pretty fast. And out of that, though, you've got like 400 to 600 strips that come out. Because each, if there's 5 people in there, we print 5 strips. There's 5 little billboards going out into the world. Plus, you've got everybody posting them on Facebook, because they all can send them to their phones or their email at the event. So they've got it on their phone also. So they send it to Facebook or they send it to wherever. So it's unlimited how far they can go. So that's what I'm here to find out. Is this a good idea or is this crazy? So that's it.
I've got the microphone. I did want to shout out Shelby. Thank you for the donuts from Proof. She is our donut sponsor, Cadence Speaker Academy. Danielle, we'll take that first one.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions, but before I ask them, can you tell me a little bit about like the different kind of price ranges? Like what does this look like if somebody wanted to sponsor individually? And then I have a different question about the event itself.
Our standard pricing for like a half-day event, which we call a half-day event, an hour to set up, 3 hours of processing, of actually taking the pictures, and an hour to tear down. That's $725.
Okay.
And then it just goes from there. And that's kind of where I'm kind of on a fence on sponsorships. It's like, because it's really technically worth a lot more than that to a sponsor, but that's kind of where our pricing sits. And so that's kind of usually where I land when I'm doing different events.
Okay, so I have an event coming up in June, and I'm trying to think how this would work.
June 6th, to be exact.
Yes, June 6th. Thank you, Leif. But I'm curious, just as a event organizer, if I would make this a level of sponsorship for like one sponsor individually, and they would purchase at that level, or as an event organizer, if I would pay for it and then like rotate branding logos in. Can you do more than one logo on a thing? Like,
the strips are pretty little, but we did this is after hours, and there was like 4 of us sponsoring it. We all were on the strip. We all did so you can do it that way. Or like you said, you can rotate them, we can do, yeah, that's a great idea. So.
It's kind of evergreen because some of the pictures I've had done with you are still sitting on my refrigerator.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me that.
I think the nonprofit approach is a good idea, but I think you should approach it differently.
Yeah.
As far as, which is why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, every nonprofit has a board, and every board has business owners. And so it could be don't approach it as you need to find me a sponsor, but like ask your board if anybody would sponsor that. So I think that's a way, and the board is probably already being asked, because we're in this space too of trying to connect with nonprofits and we want to build a new fundraising opportunity for the nonprofits. And rather than the nonprofits asking the businesses for money, it's like, go to your resources and see what is there.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, but it's also an opportunity for you to put a call out and say who would support this nonprofit gala or this nonprofit function at the Moss Mansion. And that can bring a whole different audience to you.
Right.
So,
yeah. What I'm trying to do is take some of the weight off the nonprofit.
Yeah.
Because some of the people I talk to, they go, I try to get money every day. And so if I could help them find a sponsor,
or having multiple sponsors, that's a good idea too. Because I mean, $750 is $750. It's that's a chunk of money.
Yeah.
If you could split that. So
this one, I don't have that screen up of the different ones that we did. We did Cody Animal Shelter. They had a couple different sponsors.
Yeah.
We did the Fair and Rosebud a couple years ago, and they had a couple sponsors. They had a dentist and somebody else. I can't remember,
you could charge too. The photo booth. No.
No. The only reason I am so adamantly saying no, after 12 years, and I'm in a lot of different Facebook groups, and I go to Photo Booth Expo in Vegas and everything,
Yeah.
and I have yet to find
Anybody that does it?
because you don't make money. People don't want to pay for it.
Right.
People can always ask you when they come up, like, how much is it? How much is it? But if you told them $1 amount, they probably turn around. Yeah. The only place that it worked for us one time was when we didn't care who walked in, come in. It was a school, and they had a different wristband for including your photo booth or not.
Yeah.
That's the only place I've ever seen kind of a perp strip, but otherwise it just doesn't work. People just won't pay for it. I don't know why, but they won't.
Makes sense.
Yeah, one thing you could add into the dual branding is essentially you could tier it. Allow someone to have one side and the other, or if they want, purchase both.
Mm-hmm.
And that would allow some FOMO, if you will, of my side's going to be too small, so I can upgrade and get a bigger one. And that might help with selling the full package.
Yeah,
at
because we can do
$7.25.
anything that we want in these. And like you saw some of those, some people do the postcard size. We got a lot more real estate on those. But we can do anything we want because I just pull it into Photoshop and I can make it exactly what the client wants. The colors, any of that.
And if you wanted to pitch it as an optional item, because like you said, boards are tapped out. A lot of times we spend a huge amount of resources and time and our own money already into it. But if there was someone that was interested in sponsoring it for their business, you could include the option to put a QR code in there for donations. Make it exclusive to the board itself or the nonprofit. So if one of the board members chooses to, it becomes a fundraising aspect.
Don't know if I'm following that.
So instead of having just business information in that bottom section, you could do a small QR code with donate today and allow the board member essentially to sponsor in the name of the charity. And then he just slaps his logo at the bottom that's very small, but it allows you to leverage kind of a dual purpose in it that might entice more of the board members to sponsor it.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So the QR code really has nothing to do with me.
No.
Okay.
It would be their QR code.
I'm collecting. It's like, no.
See, it says OxyFresh. 20%
Yeah.
off. Who's next? John.
I have kind of a couple questions. So you're already getting hired by a good amount of nonprofits just to be at these events,
Right. But they have to do all the legwork. So I'm trying to take that weight off of them if it's a good idea and put it onto me.
Yeah. So is your goal like that this is just I'm helping these nonprofits by having the sponsor pay me instead of them? Or is this like I'm getting paid by the nonprofit to be at this event, but this is like an add-on that you can get sponsored? Like, what does that kind of look like?
So I'm trying to take the financial burden off of the nonprofit. We have done some where the nonprofit will find a sponsor. They do all the legwork. They'll find a sponsor. They'll pay me my rate, but they charge a sponsor more, and then they have extra money for their charity too. They can charge whatever they want for their sponsorship. So.
And if you have a sponsor, is that more than you would charge a nonprofit? Or is this
at this point, I'm
rate?
not doing anything different.
Okay.
So, and I even have some nonprofit pricing that I can help out with too.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, like, if somebody hires you for an event, whatever, it's your set price. But I feel like the sponsorship should be even more because of the value you're providing them.
That's a lot of people are telling me. That's a lot of people are telling me. Photo Booth Expo, they all told me that. But I don't know. We have to baby steps. Taking baby steps.
Yeah, it's just a lot. But I do like the aspect of like you're helping the nonprofit find somebody and giving added benefit to the sponsors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of wanted to clarify that.
You have what, like 2 or 3 units or 2 or 3?
We have two
setups?
full setups with the print and everything, and then we have a drop-off type, digital only type
Gotcha.
one too.
So obviously, since you go to Vegas and go to all these fun shows, what's kind of the next What's the next phase, the next innovation?
The big thing this year, every year there's something. This year's was all AI. It's like, I am AI'd up to here. I'm so tired of hearing about it. That's all it was. That's all they wanted to talk about. Like, yeah, okay. Give me 5 years for Montana. Then we'll bring in AI.
Okay, so I have a question about how you're currently approaching sponsors and kind of what that structure looks like. Specifically, are you looking for like one sponsor per each of these nonprofit events or even for-profit events that you might be participating in? Or do you have like a level of sponsorship or a way where you can say, sponsor X amount of events in 2026 for this amount of money, and then you're going and getting multiple sponsors at that tier or at that level, and then you're deciding where to fill them in? Like,
that's a great idea. I haven't done that. But
that's how I have my sponsors. I
Yeah.
have 3 or 4 right now that sponsor every Resilient Stories event for the whole year.
Mhm.
So they do my monthly ones. They'll do the event in June, the one in December. They'll do the retreat, so they get swag. So I bill them annually,
Mhm.
one price, and then I don't bug them anymore
Mhm.
for the next year, but I put their logo on everything I do. So if you were going one sponsor at a time per photo booth, that's one way. Or if you could set it up to, because I was doing that too, and then people wanted to help and give, more dollars, and so finally I was just like, okay, well, give me X amount for the whole year, and they were like, okay,
Yeah.
So, and even if you didn't want to do the whole year, you could break it into,
Mhm.
a winter, a spring, and that kind of thing, and then you
That's
would just
awesome
be approaching
idea.
people once
Yeah.
for a bigger chunk of money versus coming back to them each time there's an event.
Because that's where I don't know how. That's what I need from you guys is, how do I approach
We
these
should have
sponsors? We should have coffee.
So that's why we have to write down a bunch of notes.
Yeah.
So you have all this information. Who's next? Really? Nobody? Any question?
One thing you could take a look at doing is adding sponsorships to your private events to then fund the nonprofit events. So like if you do have someone sign up to be a sponsor for 3 weddings, say, and their logo goes at the bottom, but that sponsorship money would then be held aside to basically pay for the next nonprofit.
It's an idea, but as a bride, I would never go for that.
Yeah.
It's my day.
Yeah.
Brides are very protective of their day. So I don't know if they'd ever go for that.
Yeah, I wonder
But
how many of
schools,
them
I do a
actually-
lot of schools that
Yeah.
do that will approach that. Schools.
Yeah.
Chamber events.
Right.
Yeah.
And those kind of things. But for a wedding, they would say, are you out of your mind?
Well, you have to wonder how many of
I don't even put my branding on wedding strips.
Yeah.
There's nothing about photo booth Billings or anything. I'll have some cards sitting like real
Mhm.
casually over to the side.
Mhm.
But yeah.
But yeah, like your other events, you have to know how many of them you typically do on a season.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just basically hunting for sponsorships for those specific ones to fund nonprofits. And then it gives you a great selling point to go back to those businesses that you target going, yeah, your sponsorship doesn't make me money. You're essentially donating through to this selection of nonprofits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
you're getting exposure to 3 groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Who's next? Emily's got one.
You talked about how do I approach these businesses
Right.
and, that kind of thing. One of the, sometimes it's a numbers game, right? I would tend to go back through when you sit down with the nonprofit that you're supporting. They're going to give you a list of people that have supported them in different ways, maybe ones that they've recently worked with, that they're already doing things with that aren't going to be a good fit because they've already got money in the bucket, and then maybe some that they had support from 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
that are, for whatever reason, they like the organization, but maybe there just wasn't, a connection there. Or so I would get a target list when, as part of your process that you're going to go through, sit down and do like a consultation with the nonprofit, find out, who has supported them in the past. Maybe you can go back through some of their flyers, look at who's been on the flyer, look at, where some of their fundraising efforts were in the past, and then revisit those. They're going to be a little bit warmer leads than if you were just going out cold calling people. And not that cold calling doesn't work, but, it's a little bit, less if you have some people that already understand what it is that the organization is doing and they're passionate about it. Somebody who loves, pets is going to be a different target than somebody who wants the Moss Mansion. I mean, there's going to be some crossover, but I think if you really get that information from them, they'll see you as, a resource. The other question that was just a thought. The other question that I had for you is, what percentage of your business is this nonprofit work that you're doing?
At this point, it's probably about 20%.
Okay. And is the goal, like John was asking, is the goal just to help you generate revenue in that 20%? Or are you generating it and you just want to, they're paying you, you're just wanting to be helpful? Like you're more like coming from an altruistic place? Or do you need to do this because you need revenue from that 20% of your business?
Kind of 50-50.
Okay.
I always want it. I'm really trying to grow my business, so.
That's a lot of math. 2020. That's like new math.
2020, yeah.
Could be an option that you talk to your current clients about,
Yeah.
We can come to your event for this amount of money, but you want to sponsor a nonprofit. If it's more about visibility and less about profit and being at nonprofit events, that could be something to help their business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
because a lot of schools lately are having tighter budgets than they used to.
Maybe not schools. My husband's a middle school teacher,
Oh.
so I get it. But it's, they might want to have their name on the nonprofit or affiliating with, there's a lot of nonprofits in town.
This town is wonderful for nonprofits.
There's
it's
a lot of
amazing.
them. And
it's wonderful for nonprofits and it's also wonderful for sponsors. So that's why I want to be the middleman.
But you could partner with whatever nonprofit, whether it be the community foundation or pick your nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
You could ask your people that are paying for the booth, do you want to sponsor the next event for this nonprofit?
Mm-hmm.
Could be something you work into the marketing too.
Yeah. Good.
For visibility.
Let's say there was a Kentucky Derby thing going on this weekend for the Kentucky Derby.
I know, I've been trying to find somebody for that. I
Action
want to
of
do that
horses.
really bad.
This would fit right into that.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I'd love to have
You're
somebody.
welcome.
You already have a sponsored photo booth, and it's obviously not me.
So when you do the nonprofit events, the nonprofit pays you to come, correct?
That's the way it's set up right now.
Okay, and when you do a private event, it's the same way. They pay you to come, and then you don't charge people for pictures, right?
No.
You just come and take all the. Okay.
No.
So is it $750 for you to come to an event? Is that price, or is that the sponsorship price?
The $725 is that's my normal price. That's my published price out on the internet. That's my normal price. So now many times it depends on the nonprofit, and if I've done work with them before, I will give them a discounted rate.
Okay.
And then they can charge their sponsor whatever they want because they pay me. They're paying me. So they can pay me my rate, and then they can charge the sponsor whatever they want, or like you said, put in different tiers.
Mm-hmm.
They can play with it and do more fun things with it as long as I get paid.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, is how exactly you get paid, and I think that was John's.
I know.
Like,
I want to stay in business.
So are you and I think this was John's question too, and I'm sorry if you answered it and I missed it, but are you trying to create an additional revenue stream, which is how I am seeing this? I'm seeing this as a whole nother revenue stream for you to sell marketing on these little billboard
We're sitting
strips?
in a room of capitalists here.
Or are you just looking for someone to pay the $725 so you can go to the Chinook Derby thing and not charge them? Like what?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
Honestly, I set a goal for how many events I want to do this year. And so this is a way to get more events.
So that's your goal. Get more events.
I want to get more events because that's my goal that I made for this year.
Growing more than
So-
2%, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wherever did you get that fancy outfit and that hat?
Doesn't she look fabulous?
Is that from the Switch Society? You're welcome.
Okay, so I have what if you turn it upside down a little bit and, for example, you go to, I don't know, one of the banks, right? Or something like that. and you approach them, and then they get to choose what event they want to gift this to. And that might open you up to a totally different, audience. Like, you already have a pool of nonprofits that you're working with or that you have access to. But if the sponsor, the bank or the whatever person, insurance company, some of those folks who always sponsor things, they might have a special place in their heart for a specific, event or a specific nonprofit that's doing something that really would love to get your, then they are gifting it to them rather than being approached as, will you do this? They then get to, I think the positioning is a little differently if we look at it like that.
Well, I would like to open it up like that. I would like to be more options for the nonprofit. These are some of the sponsors we work with. And then for the sponsors themselves, these are some of the, so I kind of like to be an ambassador for both, kind of, so that I could give them those options. Actually, tonight at between 4 and 6, they're doing the Yellowstone Valley Rally, no, Yellowstone Valley Gives Rally, and we will have our photo booth there. That's kind of exactly what I'm trying to do here, is put the two together. They're going to all be together at this party. So if you want to see how the photo booth works.
So let me ask a couple people in the audience. So I know we have Anvil Insurance and we have Cameron Records here. From your guys' perspective, is this something that you would see value in and being a sponsor of an event that was passionate for you and your family or you and your business?
One of the things that sponsors like to be able to do is write off their donation. So if they're paying you directly, I think that would be a bit of a downside because you're not a 501c3.
Probably, yeah.
So whatever you do, you have to make sure the money goes through the nonprofit. So the nonprofit is issuing the receipt so that the sponsor can donate.
Right, and that's the way I
And
would
write it
rather
off as
do
a
it
tax.
anyway.
So
And
that
then
is
they have
something
more
you
control.
have to-
The nonprofit has more control over what
So
they
that's
do
just
with it. So
the
yeah,
paperwork you have
yeah.
to
Because I think
about
I was
a
trying to
little
think back, and I think the only one that ever paid us directly for some reason was one of the Lockwood Lockouts. Master Loop paid us directly, and I was surprised. Like, okay, because usually they
A
don't.
lot of that depends also on how you're structured.
Yeah.
If you're an LLC, you can't do that, but if you're an S corp or a C corp, then it goes into a different set of line items in accounting structure. You have to talk to a full-on accountant.
Math and accounting today. Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, I just had a thought that for your sake, I would want to avoid becoming like a sales arm for all these nonprofits and like trying to go out and,
Right. Yeah.
and get sponsors for
It's not my
everybody.
job.
Yeah, it's not your, like, you love the nonprofit, but like you don't have the time and resources to be raising funds for all the nonprofit. But I think what you can do is kind of what you're doing, going to the nonprofit first, and it's an add-on. They get to provide more value for their sponsors, therefore they can charge more to the sponsors, just as long as you're getting, I think, like what you said, like they pay your fee and then they can add on whatever they want as the amount that they'll actually be donated to them, right?
Yeah, because if they want 3 sponsors, same price for me. They can do whatever they want with their pricing to the sponsor, but I don't charge like, oh, you've got 3 sponsors, now that's an extra. It's not going to be that way.
Yeah, just from my perspective, I would focus on like being that value add to nonprofits for their events, just because you can spend all your time finding sponsors for things, and that's like, it's not your job to be a fundraiser for stuff.
That's true. Yeah. Good point.
Katie said here.
I think this is a great idea. I really love it. When people are paying you, like a business, for them to have it in their space, do you have like an online link for that? Okay. Is there a way that you maybe could partner with somebody like the Community Foundation and put a line item for people to donate more so that they can coagulate together to build a sponsorship in the future? So then the Community Foundation is the one that gets the money, then they can get it written off, and then maybe it's 15 people put $20 in or however much to get to whatever the cost is, and then that is then just sponsored by the Community Foundation, and then people get to be altruistic at a smaller rate.
That's awesome.
And then one more thought is a way that you could do it where instead of requesting, you could do a value add where every time your booth is at a nonprofit, you could post it on social media and be like, we're here, come down, get your free photo, and like thereby supporting this organization. See what the beauty is in this space, in this gala, in this whatever, and get your free photo. I'll be here at these places. And then that way you're advertising for the nonprofit without actually having to do more work, too much work, right? And at the same time advertising for yourself.
That's a great idea. I love that idea.
BCF Community Foundation calls that a fiscal sponsorship. And it's very easy to set up, so we can help you through all that. So,
yeah.
Cool. That Dogs and Sips food truck drives through one more time. I'm going to go flag him down. Anybody else? A question? Your 1 million cups question, did you already ask that?
That's what I was just looking at. My last thing. It's like, how do I supposed to sponsor? But you guys were really helpful there. What objections should it be ready for? What do you think? No, that's a dumb idea, lady. Get out of my office. Another thing I was thinking of is, how do I approach, what's the best approach? You guys are business people. Email, telephone call, cold call. I love the other suggestions of talking to the nonprofits, getting that information. Social media. That's a great idea. Okay. I think you guys already answered the rest of them.
On Facebook for the sponsors, for the sponsors and the nonprofits, to where like they could go on like even a Facebook page and just say like, hey, I'm looking for 3 sponsors for this event or something, so that they're doing the work for their event, and it's just kind of like an open Facebook page where they can kind of go and everybody can search for it and decide, you know, like it's very, I guess, non-invasive to the person, because like it's just on Facebook. They can ignore it or they can acknowledge it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is get the right approach into these businesses. You guys, you're trying to run a business. You don't need to listen to me. So.
For those of you that are new, wonder why we're running around with this microphone, this is on Facebook Live. You can always catch it on Facebook, and so that way they can hear your questions that you ask as well as the answers. So I know some people are like, I can't hear a speaker. What's happening? Okay, Emily.
I think there's no one right way to do anything, right? I was looking at your last question, which is does going to the venue or the nonprofit first make sense? I think everybody has kind of their own, you know, I might have an opinion about it, Danielle might have an opinion, John might have, everybody has an opinion about it. You have to test these things for yourself and really like track the data, right, as you're testing it to see what works really well for you and why, so that then you can say, okay, here's the process that I'm going to go through. So I think you should test a couple of the things and see, and it may be that with this particular group of people, it works best to start with the venue, and then with the next group, it might have worked that you start with the sponsor. But the more that you do it, as long as you're tracking the data, you'll be able to determine what's going to be best for your specific approach as you kind of go down this path. So don't be afraid to iterate as you're, navigating. Okay, well, that didn't work.
That didn't work.
Let me try this instead. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
20, 50, 50, accounting, iterate. Holy cow, words today.
Words.
I love it. Anybody else? Joe.
I just had a quick thought about, like, I know you don't charge for photo booths, but this is just a thought to help the nonprofits at the event. If you had like a suggested donation or something for the photo, like they're not paying you, it's a donation to the nonprofit.
A lot of our events, my 2 attendants are right here, Kevin and Casey. What was the last one that you guys did? You put a donation bucket out for?
For women that were women that had been abused or something. They helped. It was a business that helped with that. I can't remember exactly what the business was.
But we put out a donation bucket there too. And how much did you guys?
We raised about $400 for them in just the donation.
Just the donation bucket.
Yeah, it did do absolutely.
Because we're not charging per picture.
Awesome.
Because we have a donation box, and people donate more than if you were trying to charge per picture, for sure.
Yeah, and we specifically let them know that all of the proceeds for the donations went to.
It's not a tip jar. It's a donation jar.
We weren't taking half as a tip or something like that. So.
Did you tell them they were going to present today?
I didn't tell them they were going to present.
Last couple questions and we'll wrap up. How much does it cost for a photo booth? Like a whole other set? Is that the biggest expense?
Well, it's all these different pieces that go together to build the set, because you've got the computer, the backdrop that you helped us with, you got the booth itself, and you've got the metal part. Paper is probably the biggest ongoing expense. That's why I have to charge something, because I do have a hard cost in my.
Yeah. $7.25.
If I could, I'd give it away every day because I love doing them. So, but these guys do most of the work, so they're like going, well, you can give it away if you want, as long as you pay me.
Any last questions? Great. How about a big hand for Cindy?
Thank you.